What happens when Hollywood's most beloved nice guy finally reaches his breaking point? When the cameras are rolling, the audience is watching, and a talk show host pushes just a little too far. Today, we delve into an explosive confrontation nobody expected at the heated clash that ended with Keanu Reeves walking off the Drew Barrymore Show, leaving the studio in stunned silence. This wasn't just another celebrity interview gone wrong. This was the moment kindness met cruelty, respect collided with exploitation, and one of Hollywood's most genuine stars said, "Enough." Backstage at the Drew Barrymore Show, the green room hummed with the usual pre-show buzz. Keanu Reeves sat quietly in the corner, dressed in his signature black suit, calmly reviewing his notes for what was meant to be a routine promotional interview for his latest film. Decades of experience had taught him how to handle these appearances with grace. Keanu was known for his professionalism and no demands, no tantrums, just genuine enthusiasm and respect for the conversation ahead. "Mr. Reeves, we're ready for you," called a young production assistant, her voice tinged with the nervous excitement of working with an A-list star. Keanu looked up with that warm smile, at the same one that had charmed audiences in countless romantic comedies and action blockbusters. "Thank you. I appreciate it," he replied softly. He stood, straightened his jacket, and followed the assistant down the brightly lit hallway toward the studio. Promotional photos lined the walls, smiling faces of past guests, celebrities who had shared Drew's couch. Keanu had always respected Drew Barrymore as a fellow actor, recalling their early days in the industry when they were both young and striving to make their mark. The audience was buzzing with anticipation as Drew prepared behind the curtain. But today, something was different. The usual bubbly warmth was replaced by a calculated intensity, a predatory gleam in her eyes, a hint that this would not be a friendly chat. "Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the incomparable Keanu Reeves," Drew announced, bounding onto the stage with her signature smile. The crowd erupted in applause as Keanu emerged, waving modestly and settling onto the familiar talk show couch. He crossed one leg over the other, hands folded calmly in his lap, had a picture of relaxed professionalism. "Keanu, thank you for joining us," Drew began, her voice dripping with saccharine sweetness. "I have to say, you look absolutely fantastic. You know, I've been thinking about this interview for weeks. There's so much about you that people don't really know, so many secrets behind that mysterious smile." Keanu raised an eyebrow, sensing something off in her tone. "I don't know about secrets," he said gently. "I've always tried to be pretty open about my life and work. That's what interviews are for, right? To connect with people who enjoy the films." Drew leaned forward, eyes narrowing slightly. "Oh, but Keanu, surely you know that's not entirely true. Let's be honest. You've built this whole persona as a humble, down-to-earth guy who rides motorcycles and gives his money away. But we both know that's carefully crafted publicity, don't we?" The audience shifted uncomfortably, sensing this wasn't the friendly banter they expected. Keanu's smile flickered into confusion. "I'm not sure I understand," he said measuredly. "I don't think I've ever pretended to be anything other than myself. I work hard, treat people with respect, and try to make films that entertain. If that seems like publicity, then I'm doing something wrong." Drew laughed, a sharp, hollow sound devoid of warmth. "Come on, Keanu, drop the act. We're both industry veterans. We know the game. You've played the mysterious loner with a heart of gold for 30 years. But what's it really like behind the scenes? When the cameras aren't rolling?" Tension thickened in the studio. Keanu shifted, jaw tightening. "This isn't the interview I agreed to," he said steadily. "It feels more like an ambush." "Drew, I'm not putting on a show," he continued, voice gaining steel. "This is who I am. I've never claimed perfection, but I won't stand accused of being fake or manipulative. It's unfair to me and your audience." Drew's smile widened, cold and calculating. "Fair? Since when has Hollywood been about fair? You've made millions playing the same character while actors who deserved chances got sidelined. Isn't that the truth?" Audience members exchanged uneasy glances. Some whispered, Others stared at the stage as if expecting someone to step in. Keanu's hands clenched into fists. There's a misunderstanding. I've never hogged the spotlight. I'm grateful for my opportunities and try to use my platform to support causes I believe in. This isn't the conversation your audience came for. Drew stood abruptly, pacing like a prosecutor. No. It's exactly the conversation they need. They need to see the real Keanu Reeves as the actor fooling everyone for decades. The studio cameras wavered as tension mounted. The producer's frantic gestures went ignored as Drew pressed her attack. You know what I think? She said, voice rising. You're terrified. Terrified people will see past the Zen philosophy and motorcycles to the insecure man underneath. You've just gotten really good at hiding it. Keanu stood slowly, deliberate. The audience fell silent, sensing something unprecedented. I don't know what this is about, he said calmly, but I won't sit here and take attacks for reasons I don't understand. I came to talk about my film A to connect, not be ambushed. Drew's eyes flashed triumph. There it is, the real Keanu Reeves. Not so zen when challenged instead of praised. The confrontation spiraled as Keanu's composure wore thin. I don't know what I did to deserve this, he said, hands shaking slightly. If you have a personal issue, let's discuss it privately instead of a public execution. This isn't personal, Drew snapped, gripping her chair. It's about integrity in an industry built on lies. You've been the poster child for authenticity so long people forget what real authenticity looks like. You think ambushing a guest is authenticity? Keanu fired back, voice rising. Accusing without evidence? That's cruelty, not honesty. The audience gasped, some covering mouths in shock. Drew's producer gestured wildly, but she fed off the chaos she created. You want to talk evidence? Drew challenged bitterly. You've never given an honest interview. You deflect personal questions with philosophical nonsense. You've turned mystery into a brand A while honest actors struggle. Keanu's face flushed with anger. What's honest about attacking someone who came in good faith? This isn't authenticity. It's exploitation. Drew slammed her hand on the desk. You came here to sell your movie, manipulate emotions, profit off your image. Keanu stood tall, voice edged with warning. Promotion isn't manipulation. Sharing work isn't exploiting trust. You're using your audience for a personal vendetta. Drew laughed maniacally. Personal vendetta? No. This is principle. Calling out Hollywood's hypocrisy, staring us in the face for decades. What hypocrisy? Keanu demanded, losing control. You're accusing me of being polite, professional, trying to keep privacy in a world that devours it all? Privacy? Drew scoffed. You've calculated how much vulnerability to show to stay authentic without really being human. Emotion is your commodity. Keanu rose, towering. You don't know me, my losses, my struggles, the times I've helped people quietly, with no cameras. Drew rolled her eyes. Here comes the same routine. Rehearsed for maximum impact. It's not rehearsed, Keanu said tightly. It's my life. I don't broadcast it because it's no one's business but mine and theirs. Tell the truth, then, Drew taunted, invading his space. Tell them about the tantrums, the demands, the people you stepped on. I don't have tantrums, Keanu said, voice deadly quiet. I don't make unreasonable demands. I've never stepped on anyone. If you have proof, show it. Otherwise, stop with baseless accusations. Drew laughed harshly. In this industry, the truth gets buried. NDAs get signed. But those who work with you know the truth, how you really are when no one's watching. That's a lie, Keanu shot back, fists clenched. Ask anyone I've worked with. They'll say I'm on time, respectful, professional. That's not a persona, it's who I am. Drew's smile turned cold and calculating. Of course they say that. Who would risk their career telling the truth about Keanu Reeves, Hollywood's untouchable saint? The studio felt suffocating with tension. Some audience members left, others stayed out of morbid curiosity. Camera operators filmed shakily, capturing the historic confrontation. You're sick, Keanu said, disgusted. Projecting your cynicism onto everyone else. Just because you operate that way doesn't mean everyone does. Drew's face twisted with rage. Don't psychoanalyze me. Don't stand there in your designer suit and fake humility and tell me I'm sick. I'm the only one being honest here. You're cruel, Keanu said, shaking his head. There's a difference. You crossed that line. Drew stepped close, voice venomous. You think I enjoy this? Exposing Hollywood's biggest fraud? This is necessary. Someone has to do it. I might as well be me. Fraud? Keanu shouted, incredulous. You're calling me a fraud on your own show? Ambushing a guest with accusations you can't prove? Look in the mirror, who's the real fraud? The studio held its breath. The cameras captured every moment of this intense showdown. Drew's face twisted in rage and satisfaction. There it is. Angry. Defensive. Just like everyone when called out. How does it feel to have your mask ripped off on national TV? Keanu's breathing grew heavy. This isn't my mask. This is what happens when decency is pushed too far by cruelty. When kindness finally says enough. Drew laughed coldly. You call your PR campaign kindness? Your manipulative image kindness? You're kind only to your bank account and ego. The words hit Keanu like blows. Something inside snapped. You know what, Drew? You're right. I'm angry I wasted my time here. Angry you're so bitter you think tearing people down is entertainment. Drew moved closer, excitement flashing in her eyes. Spare me the indignation. You knew this business, image, manipulation, giving people what they want. You just got better at pretending otherwise. I didn't pretend, Keanu said, voice rising. I tried to be authentic in a world full of fakes. That makes me a fraud. Drew's producer frantically signaled to cut, but she was lost in her assault.